So you've been like, okay, I want to start working from home. I want to have a freelance business, or I want to start my remote career. And then you somehow start feeling like you're stuck on the sidelines because every other person that you're seeing seems to be thriving and making success. And you're like, I wish I can do this too, but I don't have any experience. Well, if that is what is happening to you right now, then this video is for you. Hello, welcome back to the Creative Being Woman. My name is Blessing, and this is the space where work from home moms and ladies come to get actionable tips and advice and strategies for them to excel in their work from home career, be it freelancing or having a 9 to 5 but from the comfort of your home. So, if you've been asking yourself that, okay, how can I start working from home? No matter the capacity that is in, maybe in freelancing capacity or in having a remote career capacity, without prior experience. Who is going to hire me? How am I going to start? Like, I don't even know all the whole things that are going to be involved. So how do I even get from point A to point B? Well, let's go straight into it. The first thing that I want you to do is get out of your own head and have a growth mindset. So this is where I'm going to pause and say, allow me to inspire you a bit and give you a motivational talk where I'll tell you that it's very important for you to believe in yourself that you can do this. So yes, you don't yet recognize or think you have experience in this field that you want to go into, you want to use to freelance, or you want to use to apply for remote work. But I need you to first tell yourself that you need to shift your mindset away from, I don't have any experience, how can I do something with this? How can I shift on that mindset to, I am willing to learn and eager to grow? Just having that mindset shift already sets you up to start seeing possibilities, already sets you up to stop panicking over all the numerous things or the whistles and bells that you feel you have to set up for you to have a true thriving work from home career. So, can you do that? All right, now let's move to the next point. So the next point that I want you to do is, I now want you to sit down and identify your transferable skills. And I'm going to explain this a bit. You might think that you don't have any experience, but I'm here to tell you that that's wrong. At least in some great capacity, you either went to school or you're involved in your community in some way. Maybe you're involved in an activity at church, or you probably even have like a previous job role, or you're even working in a particular role right now, but you are like, okay, the field that I want to go into and I want to freelance in, or I want to start a remote work career in, is not relevant to the skill or the previous job that I am doing right now. If that is, you just pause. I just want you to first of all know that in some way you have skills that you have built up from school, from engaging with your friends in some way, or even in some activities that you never thought of. And let me give you an example. Maybe you are someone that you're very good with planning. So maybe you're not an event planner, but you're very good with planning that, when it comes to birthdays, maybe for your siblings or at home, or even for your friends, or surprises, you are always called on, you know how to coordinate people. That is already forming a good basis for project management. Now, of course, that is not the entirety of project management, but you can see that there's going to be some similarities from what you already know with some skills that are already existing. So just sit down, don't bother yourself about trying to pinpoint, okay, this skill, what is this skill useful for? What is this skill that I've learned useful for? What I want you to do is just list out all the skills that you have, gathered from maybe the previous job that you're doing right now, from being involved in one activity or one department at church, or what you have done for your friends and family, and list it out. Once you have done that, then let's move to the next point. So the next point that I have right here is build on your skills. Now, at the end of the day, you definitely want to ensure that the skill that you are going to start freelancing with, the skill you're going to sell in your freelance career, your freelance business, is something that is in demand, and it's something that is high income. You don't want to just stay and say, okay, I'm going to think of a skill and then start selling it. It has to be something that there's a demand for it. So when you have listed out those transferable skills that you have gathered or that you have, one of two things will happen. It's either while looking at it, you already now even easily know that, oh, I actually want to be a virtual assistant, and I'm now saying that, oh, I am good at planning, I am good at scheduling, I am scheduling events, keeping people accountable. Maybe I plan this event and I ensure that everybody kept to time. I am good at, Excel, I am good at this. And you just see that, wow, I never knew, and I already have these skills that are going to make me like a good virtual assistant. All I need to do now is to build on these skills. That is one thing that can happen. The second thing that would happen if that doesn't happen is that you realize that, okay, maybe I want to become a graphic designer. I don't really have maybe any direct transferable skills that speaks to graphic designing, but one way or the other, there are going to be at least 1, 2, or 3 skills that are going to make you stand out in that field or that skill that you want to learn as a graphic designer. Maybe it's the fact that you have very great communication skills, or you have very great eye like for detail, attention to detail. You can catch the tiniest of details that others cannot catch. That is going to be something that, as a graphic designer, is going to make you, competitive when it comes to others. So these are just rough examples. So it's possible that the skills that you have translate directly to the skill that you want to pursue in your freelance career or your remote work career, or these skills don't translate directly, but they're going to give you an edge, help you stand out, because these are the things that make you you at the end of the day when it comes to every other person in that field. Okay, we good? Okay, so let's move to the next point. And the next point is build your online portfolio. Now, this is the one that gets a bit tricky, because maybe right now you're looking at me and said, girl, I said I don't have experience. What am I going to put in my portfolio? So stay with me. Now, when it comes to building your online portfolio, the most important thing is that no matter what you have learned or whatever knowledge you have gathered, what really gives you experience is when you put that knowledge or what you have learned into action. Experience comes from doing, right? So if no one has yet given you an opportunity to do or to practice the skill you've learned, then this is where you need to create opportunities whereby you can now practice the skills that you have and put them into action. So, and I'm just going to mention 3 different ways, just in case you're like, okay, you get to this point and you don't yet have like maybe an entry level opportunity that allows you to practice. So these are 3 other things that you can consider. 1, self-projects. So I'm just going to explain a little bit about this, because it's something that you just have to be clear about. So when I mean self-projects, I mean projects that are self-initiated, but they're directly going to allow you to practice your skill. So let's say as a graphic designer, you are like, okay, I want to create a logo. No one has hired you to create a logo. Maybe the company you want to create a logo for doesn't even exist, but in some context it should be realistic. So if you're going to create a logo and you want to create a logo for a beverage company, we have so many beverage companies, right, that are existing, and there are things that matter to when you operate. I'm not a graphic designer, but at least I have some knowledge. So there are things that matter to when you see, as an end user, when you see the logo for a beverage company, it's just distinct in some way, and you know that, okay, this and this should go here, this speaks to me more. I know this is for a drink company. Now all of those key things that matter is now what is going to go into what you create for this imaginary beverage company. You see where I'm going with this? So you are probably not going to create a logo for a company that already exists. You want to create from an imaginary company, but the company, even though imaginary, should be realistic at some point, just to give enough context to it. All right, so that's one way you can go about it. Another thing you can also do is volunteer work. Now, this volunteer work is, it comes in two phases, in such a way that you probably maybe already volunteering in something, maybe at an NGO, or you're volunteering in church, or maybe there is like a local business around you that you just go there and like, okay, let me just offer my skill in exchange for a good testimonial, and knowing that, okay, this is for like a real context. All right. Or maybe it's like your friend is starting a business and you're like, okay, I can offer my graphic design skills for you, let me create your logo for you or something. So this volunteer work, even though not paid, you're getting something in return, in such a way that hopefully you're able to get actual feedback from this person that you're you're working with, or you're volunteering with someone that's an expert at what you want to learn, so that you can learn under them in exchange for creative feedback and also a testimonial. Then the third part is internships. Now, internships, there are paid internships, there are unpaid internships. There are some internships that start out unpaid, and then maybe a few months down the line you are able to get good at what you do, it translates into paid internships. There are some that through the entirety is unpaid, and so what is left for you is to tell yourself, okay, I'm going to intern for this particular period. But here is where I want you to be very, very intentional. If you're going to go into an internship that is unpaid, and maybe it's something that there's no clear definition that is ever going to be paid, ensure that you are getting something in return. So what you're getting in return is the fact that you're getting very great feedback for you to improve on what you're doing. You are getting opportunity to learn on the job. Maybe they have training resources that are going to be open to you, that maybe if you are not working with the company you have to pay for. There should not be something that just you're getting in return. So it's not like you're slaving away or you're just doing free work. All these things are what's helping you to get better at your skill, to plan, to practice what you already have as a skill, and then to also have sample work or sample experience that you can now speak to as this is a past experience. Now, out of these three, you also have to be intentional about how you go about it, because how do you know that what you're learning or what you're practicing you're improving? Feedback. Okay, and so of course, when someone is paying you for a job, the feedback is going to be different, or at least more thorough than when someone isn't paying you for a job, because maybe on their part they're like, oh, maybe it's been nice, gonna be nice, after all it's volunteer work. So if you want to really get what you want, that if this work you're doing, whether it's volunteer, whether it's free internship, is what you're you have to ensure you know what you want and ask for it. Now, in the part of self-initiated projects, of course nobody's hiring for it, you're not volunteering, you're the one thinking of this project on your own. What you can do here is try and see if there is someone within your network, within your space, that's already good at that skill. And then when you're done with this self project, before you list them on your online portfolio, try to get insights, try to get feedback from that person. Of course, make it worth their while. I'm not saying you should now have 100 things that you want them to look at at the time. Just ensure that you have done your part, and then you're like, oh, please, can you take a look at this? What do you think? What feedback do you have? How can I be better? Something like that, no matter how little the feedback is already going to make you improve at that. Another thing you also want to do is that you've gotten feedback from an expert. You now also want to ensure you get feedback from someone that is not an expert in it, but at least maybe like in an end user perspective. So an example, you create a logo design, and then you've already gotten feedback from your friend as an expert logo design, and then maybe you have a friend or family member doesn't really know much about logo design, but you're like, okay, this logo, what do you think about it? Because at the end of the day, when companies have logos, if they want it to speak to everyone, not everyone is a logo designer. So when you create logos are not created for logo designers. They are created for that brand who they might not even have logo expertise, and customers of that brand might not also have logo expertise, but there are other things that logo should speak to, that you want to ensure that, okay, did I hit the mark? And so you want to get feedback from someone that is not an expert. That's one way that you can help make your self-initiated projects, what it's while. Then for volunteer work, if maybe you feel maybe the person you're volunteering for, you're like, maybe your friend is starting a business, you're like, okay, let me manage your social media presence, and you feel they might be like, so she's doing it for me for free, let me not say too much. Try and be clear and say, in exchange for this, I need you. Maybe if there's something that you really don't like, tell me, because that's going to make me know that, okay, if you were my client, how will I want to make this better? And so that's going to challenge me to do better. And also, you get a good testimonial from that person. In the point of an internship, I've already spoken about that. Ensure that you are getting feedback that is going to make you grow. You're not just, interning and then you're just submitting your work, especially when it's unpaid, and everyone just giving you a thumbs up. You don't even know whether it's doing great or not. But it just feels like you're just being used for your time, and you're not like really getting anything to make you grow. Make sure you're getting active feedback to help you grow, and you have access to training. I dwelt a little on this point for a reason, because when it's not like you're getting a direct opportunity whereby it's an entry-level opportunity and you're being paid for it right off the bat, it can get tricky on how you make good use of it. So I had to dwell on this so that I can make good use of this particular point of building your online portfolio. Okay, yeah. So let's move to the next point. Seek opportunities locally and internationally. And I have to say locally and internationally because I want to bring it to this point. You know how in networking you don't only just, or you are advised to not only just think of networking upwards, like, okay, if I'm going to network, let me for someone that is always higher and you're also told that, okay, also network with around people that are on the same level as you as well. I want you to take that and apply it to this point I'm giving to you, where I said, don't just limit you're looking for opportunities like, okay, yes, the end goal is I want to ensure that my next gig or my first job or my first gig is not from the country I am in, it's not from Nigeria, it's from out of Nigeria. Don't just limit yourself to it, because especially when you don't have experience yet, you want to take advantage to every opportunity that is around you. So tell your friends about what you do. Tell your friends, explain to them about the skills that you have. You never know, they might probably say, okay, you can do this, okay, come and do this for me, and let's agree on an amount. At that point, it's not really about the amount, it's about the fact that you are having real work and you're being paid for that, no matter what the amount is at that point, because that's not what you're going to be doing for a matter of time, just for a short while. From there, if you're able to do great work for these people, someone else sees it and say, who did this for you? From there, you're already getting referrals. Before you know it, you might end up just even landing a very good opportunity or a very lucrative opportunity that you don't know. It can just, these opportunities that you're thinking are small can actually open bigger opportunities that you don't know, or they come across an offer, or they know someone that is even in maybe the target country that you're trying to attract clients from, and that's it. So just ensure that you also take advantage of the people around you. Okay, so a bonus point is think like an employer. So all these things that I have said, I want you to now start thinking like an employer. And it's not something that I want you to now spend so much of your time in and then start overthinking. I just want you to just take a step back from the whole situation and just be like, okay, imagine that I want to take a chance on someone. I am interviewing someone for this particular skill that I want someone to hire me for, and the person doesn't really have maybe real life experience yet or extensive experience yet. The person just have sample work to show me and all of that. What are the things that I'm going to look out for? When you start asking this question, when you try to flip this switch a little bit to put yourself in the shoes of the employer, you might be surprised that you just identify gaps that you never even thought of, and that now tells you, oh, okay, so I need to work on this, I need to work on that. And I'm going to give you an example. If someone comes to me right now and they're like, blessing, I don't have real life opportunities that have allowed me to express my skills in this area, but I need you to take a chance on me, I can do a great job, and the word sounds nice and all of that. One of the things that I would think about is that, okay, I want to know that this person is going to do the job, is going to do a good job. So what does that tell you? That means, okay, the work that I have gathered is going to speak for me. And what does that mean? Remember, I told you that it doesn't always have to be that you look for paid work. So I want to know, okay, what other things have you done that at least that can speak to me, that you would at least do good job at this. Okay, I want to hire you as my project manager. What you have not yet done any work as a project manager before, but how will I know that you're good at this? And so if you start talking to me about, okay, so I have coordinated this event, I had to manage these, I had to do that, that gives me, some kind of, okay, this can work. Do you see where I'm going with this? Another thing that you now want to think of, you want the person to be professional. You want the person to have good communication skills. You want the person to have some soft skills that make that person easy to work with. That has given you something to think about. Okay, so what other transferable skills, what other skills do I have that's going to help me come up a bit? That's one other thing. The next thing also that I will want this person to have is that I want to ensure that this person is willing to learn. So you now have to think about it as, okay, so this means, how can I show my eagerness to learn? That means I always have to have a mind that is receptive to feedback. I take feedback critically. I don't, of course, not feedback that tears you apart or makes you feel worthless, but when I get feedback, I separate that this isn't an attack on me, this is actually critique on my work. So how can I take this feedback and make my work better? Now, can you think of all of this? When you start thinking in this way, number one, like I said, it allows you to identify the gaps that naturally you're like, okay, no, I need to work on this, I need to work on this, I need to do this. And it also prepares you mentally that when I now start getting feedback, because I know that I want to learn, I shouldn't see this as an attack on my personality. So do you get it? Yeah. So actually, I just want to just let you know that you need to shift your mindset from how can I freelance with no experience to what steps can I start taking today to make me an attractive candidate. When you shift your mindset to it, it's like you wipe the fog in front of your glasses and then you now start seeing all the work that you need to do. So what I want you to do is that go back to this video, identify one point that you're going to use as your goal for each week. There might be some points or one point that would need you need to concentrate on maybe for like a few weeks or even a month. But I don't want you to take all of this and say, oh, okay, Blessing has said all of these things, I have to get everything done in one day, or I have to get everything done in 1 week, or I have to get everything done in 1 month. No, you need to make sure that you set short goals. Okay, I need to do something this week. What am I going to do this week? So this week I have to ensure that I list out all my transferable skills, or this week I have to ensure that I start thinking of, okay, the in-demand skill I want to do, and then how these skills I've listed how would play to it. Or today, after this video, I'm going to tell myself that, okay, stop thinking about, oh my god, I don't have experience, oh, however someone can just give me experience and then it will be easier. No, experience doesn't always mean paid work in that exact field. All right, so, and when it comes to volunteer, paid work, and every of these things, in another video I'm going to talk a more about this so that you know how to balance things more. Okay, so we've come to the end of today's video. If you have questions, go ahead, leave them in the comments. If maybe you are still thinking that me just maybe if I start freelancing and someone just gives me a job, that will be easier than me just having sample work. Believe me, won't sample work make me look unprofessional? Do you know how that sounds and what you're just thinking? You're already pushing your back, trying to give excuses for why you don't want to take action. And once you start giving yourself excuses or start overthinking things, you just notice that weeks have passed, months has passed, and you're still stuck on the sidelines, and that's not what you want to do. All right, so I'll see you in my next video. Keep shining. Bye.